of us showered.
Mm-hmm.
One of us got a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm. One of us drove 1,290 miles in
I
16
don't
hours.
know why you did that. I just thought you were going to tell me when you landed.
Are we on right now? Is this going?
I mean,
yeah, okay.
It's going.
I guess we're
going. You're a repeat guest, so
yeah,
no introduction needed. Everybody knows who you are in the world, I'm pretty sure. But for the 9 people that don't, this is Mr. BJ Baldwin.
That's right.
Not to be confused with Alec Baldwin.
No.
Or Billy.
Is he still around?
Alec got fat and old.
Oh, yeah. He's on Saturday Night Live from time to time.
Yeah, he plays Trump and stuff.
I haven't seen
everything
in a long time.
Billy, that was my favorite of the Baldwins.
Billy Baldwin.
Yeah, Billy was in
Vietnam.
No, he was in...
My Uncle Billy was in Vietnam.
Oh, yes. Billy was in Vietnam. He was in Backdraft, wasn't he? Was Billy Baldwin in Backdraft?
Man,
Can I get a confirmation on that?
Was there?
I thought that was Billy. Or was Billy in Biodome?
Oh, yeah. The smaller of the Baldwins.
How many fucking Baldwins are there?
There's a lot.
I
think there's
Alex,
like 5
Steven,
brothers.
Billy. Backdraft was Billy?
It was?
Yeah, Billy Baldwin. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's known as William or?
Billy Baldwin. Yeah, they call him
Billy's
Billy.
cooler.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, Billy Baldwin.
So what's going on?
Well, number one, I'm freezing. I don't know who put this Arctic giant fan above. Why is the fan on? This is cold. I wanted it on? I don't remember that. I did want it on.
I feel like we're in the future right now.
We are.
Right?
You have 1,000 horsepower Porsche.
1,029.
29. I'm not going to shortchange you.
They're hard to get. You got to count every single one of them.
And that's to the wheels?
To the wheels, I'm doing a little bit over 820.
Okay.
But that's pretty good on pump gas.
If you do 1,029 horsepower at the flywheel, I mean, that's
pretty good.
1,000 club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What is that? And you daily drive it?
I do. I drive it every day. It's got about 70,000, just shy of 70,000 miles on it. So I have a lot of fun with it.
1,029 horsepower and 70,000 miles. That says a lot for Porsche Motors.
Yeah, especially with me behind the wheel.
Has anything gone out in it?
No,
you've kept the transmission.
Yeah, everything has been good, and I really use it very, very. I'm very, very hard on it. I
would imagine. I'm kind of like that too.
Yeah, most of time that I travel, like if I go to California, from Vegas to California, for meetings and stuff like that, I don't leave till like 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I don't even leave till, 11 or midnight just because there's no traffic. And, if I really want to lean on it, then I can do so and do so safely without
scooped up.
I've been to jail.
Oh, for speeding?
Yes.
Just for speeding?
Speeding, fascia speed, contest of speed, exhibition of power, exhibition of speed, waste of natural resource, reckless driving, careless driving. And
that is all one ticket that you got?
No, that's just, I'm just
Are we listing your whole driving?
Yeah. Evasion of police. But I was never caught those times. Kind of hard to catch me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I typically outdrive the standard police officer.
Doesn't it? Yeah, don't you get like some sort of pass? Because reckless driving isn't essentially reckless when it's you behind the wheel.
I know.
Like when an inexperienced driver that's inexperienced in a powerful vehicle that is trying to do maneuvers that they are. I mean, look at all the commercials. You see these maneuvers were performed on a closed course by a professional.
Yeah.
You are a professional.
Yeah.
So
I should get a pass.
I mean, I could argue the point of define reckless driving, because give me the base point at which a standard motor vehicle operator that just has a single license? Because how many certifications do you hold just to get on certain tracks around the world?
Well, I've got FIA license and I've got a driver's license. I had to get an FIA license to do Dakar, the 3 years that I did Dakar, which was super, super grueling. But yeah,
I think if you have an FIA license,
you should be able to.
Now reckless driving moves. It's like
you should get pulled over and say,
"Was I jumping over another vehicle?" No. Okay, then me swerving. That's a normal day for you in the office,
right? I will.
Technically,
it's worth bringing up. My favorite ticket of all time out of all the ones I get, and I don't get tickets that often. I really don't. And I probably get like 2 or 3 tickets a year, but in comparison to how much I follow the traffic laws, I haven't followed a traffic law since 1996. Never.
And his Porsche is bright yellow.
Canary yellow.
Any
That's
policemen that live in Las Vegas,
look out for
canary yellow Porsche.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's an older one. It's like from the late 80s.
I got pulled over in 2005, and you should have seen the look on the law enforcement officer. His jaw was dropped, and he didn't like say anything for like 20 seconds. I was like waiting for him to say something. He said, "Do you think that was necessary?" And I said, "Well,
what were you in first? Paint us the picture."
I was in my pre-runner.
Okay.
And
we're
my pre-runner truck.
This is very different now.
It's very different
story, because really I was pulled over. I'm just picturing you in a Honda Accord on the side of the road. Okay, now you're in the pre-runner. This is in Vegas.
Okay. I was making a left off of Russell onto the freeway and trying to make a yellow light. And there was nobody around. And I wanted to have some fun. And I wanted to flex a little bit. So I got up on the bike, got up on 2 wheels and drove down the on-ramp in my pre-runner on 2 wheels. Like so you can imagine
the cops
like the reaction.
You come in on a yellow light.
Yeah.
Then you're up on 2 wheels and just.
Oh, he probably thought he was going to like witness a catastrophic accident. He's do you think that was necessary? And I was like, well, I don't think anything's necessary. Yeah, define necessary. And he's like, well, why did you do that? And, I was just, I don't know, I was trying to have a little fun and flex a little bit, I didn't really see you. Otherwise I wouldn't have done that. And he's like, well, shouldn't you this is obviously an off-road truck. Shouldn't you just do that stuff in the dirt? And I said, actually, I can't do it in the dirt because I don't get enough traction like I do on asphalt. So he wrote me a pretty fantastic ticket. But it was worth it because I have it framed. It says, did enter the on-ramp from Russell to I-15, entered at a high rate of speed, causing the vehicle to leave the pavement on the driver's side, and both driver's side tires were up in the air for the duration of the on-ramp.
Why wouldn't you have that framed? That's
right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was the coolest ticket I think I've ever gotten.
I mean, just me. If I was a cop and I saw this, I would pull you over to have just meet you.
If I was a cop and I saw somebody do that, I'd
be like, hey.
I'd pull up to the door and have like a slow clap.
Hey. Ow. Do you barbecue? Because I'm having one here.
Will you marry my
days.
daughter?
Yeah. you want to hang out? Do you have a G.I. Joe collection? What do you say at this point? Come on. Yeah. Why aren't cops more fun?
I want to ask that
question. They are. I don't understand the obsession with traffic cops.
Especially moto cops, on the motorcycle. They'll write you for
and things,
everything.
but there is a time and place. If there was no one in the intersection and you clearly could see that, do we have to pretend that was dangerous? No, we don't.
I really don't. I think, we should have different rules for different people in different vehicles, because what would allow you to believe that the speed limit and doing the speed limit is the safest way to travel? I mean, is it the same if like here in my car weighs 3,400 pounds. It's got DOT approved road race Toyo R888Rs. Its braking distance is 91 feet from 60 miles an hour, which is ridiculously short. That's not the same as a motorhome towing a triple axle trailer, you know. So,
or like a Suzuki Sprint.
Yeah.
See those a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I never followed the speed limit, never really understood why. And it probably sounds silly, but how does the government know what is the safest speed for you in that particular vehicle?
We just made that up. It's all made. Everything's made up, though. I mean,
I think it's. I like being here in Texas. Speed limit's 80.
Yeah, which means you can stretch that.
Yeah, to
like 160.
Yeah, it's 100 miles an hour under what I would prefer to travel interstate, but it's better than 75 or 65.
I did. One of my memorable times was I did drive for over 30 minutes at a 155, almost 160 in the Focus.
And you had enough gas to do that?
Well, it's the Focus.
Yeah, but still, you got the butterflies wide open.
Now,
for 30
that
minutes.
I would say was dangerous because I had the topper on.
The topper?
Yeah, I had one of the
like
one that's
luggage,
on the Jeep. The luggage thing that's on the Jeep was on top.
So loud.
Well, it was loud, but it disaffected, like it completely eliminated my wing.
Compromises your aerodynamics.
So I was like going this fast and floating because I have a wing on the roof.
Yeah, the car gets pretty light.
Yes, I had that understeer of just how long can I hold this? It was between Macon, Georgia, and Tallahassee. It was just on this empty highway trying to get back to 10.
Wow, a half hour is a long time.
I could see the GPS that was like, this is straight. Let's try this.
And no other cars or?
No, not in my lane.
I
had a few.
Late at night or?
No, it was like a Sunday at like 4:00.
Wow. Yeah, holidays, specifically any given, like on the holiday when people are spending times with their family at like Thanksgiving at like between 2 to 5 on the highway, or Christmas morning. Those are the best times to really stretch your car out on the highway because nobody's on the road at that time.
Super Bowl Sunday's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right when the game's on.
Yeah.
Not in the morning, everybody's going to the store. Yeah. Well, that was, that just to clarify that, when I was doing that speed, that was in 1987. So statute of limitations have already happened for any policemen in Georgia.
1987
Ford Focus RS.
Yeah, the concept car 15 years in the future.
Yeah, I had Apple CarPlay rolling. It was great. We was listening to Carry On My Wayward Son on repeat. Wow.
You have a lot of fun in that thing, huh?
Well, it's very short bursts of fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like fun for about 45 seconds and then it breaks.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, I have never driven more than 4 days in that car.
And then you
successfully until it sits. Yeah, so I bought it in 2017 and I've never driven it more than 4 consecutive days.
Wow.
Since 2017.
That's the problem with the race cars.
Without me breaking something on it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sending it to Adam Brunson of Tune Plus in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
He'll do a good job.
He's the man. He is the dude for any Ford. He's the guy that wrote all the best tunes for these cars. He builds those motors. He was the one that designed and built the turbo upgrade kit for it.
Yeah, especially like somebody that's, subject matter expert in one platform. They've seen so many of them explode and break down and have all these other problems that they've dealt with all those problems and they've addressed them. So somebody that's made all those mistakes in the past, they're really
I'm
good
lucky
at
to
building a
have
good
met
platform.
him, like, and then have him. I mean, I've put him on speaker and just held the phone up to the car while it's running, and he's like, "Oh, you did this. Hang on." Like,
And he sends you a file to download into the car.
Well, he
yeah.
saved me and Steve Arpin on One Lap of America a couple years ago. We actually did a detour to roll into his driveway on a Sunday, and he retuned the car right there to get it back running great.
Wow.
And yeah, he's great. Customer service at its finest, you know.
Usually you need a chassis dyno to diagnose and tune stuff like that. That's pretty knowledgeable guy if you could just do that in his driveway.
Like, are you running 91? I told you to put 93 in there. You're like, you could smell that?
Yeah. There's a big difference. It's surprising, like only a couple octanes, a big difference when you're trying to stretch them out and make the most power out of them.
Have you done anything else in your pre-runner that got you in some hot water with the hot fuzz?
Yeah. In Baja, there was a semi that was struggling quite a bit. It was only able to go up this grade at like 60, 65 miles an hour. So, and I was in a hurry to get back to camp and go have dinner. A long day of pre-running in Baja. So I came up behind him and helped push him up the hill. So got him going. And then drove around, and once I had an opportunity to pass, and sure enough, next town, bunch of Mexican highway patrol and law enforcement were waiting for me and detained me and took me to jail. And
you're like, dude, I was helping.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
I get it.
It's really hard to try and understand why they were so mad.
What year was this?
This was 2012.
This makes sense, Dave. It's right after Fast and Furious came out. They thought maybe you were trying to get into the back of the truck to steal all the stereos.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I went to jail and they're like, you can pay your fine. You know, I says, how much is it? And this looking at me, like sizing me up, looking at my clothes, looking at the pre-runner outside, you know, peeking through. And he's like, $1,900. And I was like, take me to jail. I don't have that.
Yeah, I can't pull that out of the ATM.
Yeah,
there's no
like,
limits. You should know that.
And he's like, $200. I was like, that sounds a little bit more.
Man, that's guy. I want to buy everything from this guy. Like, just
he wasn't very good at negotiating.
How much for that house? $500,000. No. $48. Question: are there traffic laws in Cuba?
In Cuba, yes, there are. I managed to get around a lot of them, which was super nice. That was the hardest
one to really, you know, disobey traffic laws in Havana and get away with it.
Oh yeah, Havana was so much fun. That was. Unfortunately, that was like the most difficult recoil that I ever filmed, because usually you have everything set up and planned out like 4 to 6 months in advance, you know, permission from local authorities, from the city, you get your permits, you know, all that stuff. And we did all that. It was really difficult to do that in Cuba, you know, being, you know, a communist country. But still, every time we went to go film at a location, not every time, but we had plans to film on certain days, certain stunts, certain events. And a lot of the time there would be a police officer on the ramp of the jump for me, you know, for example, for me jumping over the river on the beach. And he'd be like, you know, you can't do this. This is not your country. You can't do this. Even though we had all, you know, everything figured out, we didn't compensate law enforcement. They're just trying to squeeze a couple bucks out of us. You know, they wanted, you know, $500, $600, $700. So we would move around to different locations. It's funny, like law enforcement in Cuba, every single one of them had like a 380 automatic pistol that it looks like they got at the bottom of the ocean. It was like all rusted. It looked like it didn't even work. Wooden grips were all wilted, you know, and cracked.
They were just trying to shake you down, huh? Every step of the way.
Yeah, they were trying to shake us down. I'll tell you what, Cuba, the food in Cuba was some of the worst tasting food that I've ever had.
Second thing I was going to ask you.
The worst
was
tasting
it awesome?
food.
It was bad. How does food taste bad?
Oh my God.
I don't even know that. That's not in
terrible.
my vocabulary.
It was terrible. The only thing I get down is like pizza, because it's really hard to fuck
Cuban
that up.
pizza? What does that taste like?
It tastes like
They have McDonald's there?
like you go to the grocery store, you get microwavable pizza.
Yeah.
You take it home and microwave it, cook it, and then put it back in the refrigerator. You do that for 3 or 4 days, and then on the 5th day you cook it, and that's what it tastes like.
Oh God.
But compared to the other food, it was, that they had there, it was way better.
That's gotta suck. Everywhere you go, huh?
Oh, everywhere you go
Not
in
even a corn
Cuba.
dog stand or nothing?
No, I wish there was like a McDonald's. McDonald's would have been like,
They don't have McDonald's, huh?
it would have been like Wagyu steak,
Whoa.
in comparison. It would have been
Whoa.
awesome.
Other than Cuban sandwiches, I'm not really familiar with Cuban food.
No, real Cuban food is not that good. But another thing I don't understand, Cuban women, I didn't know they make them that hot. They look like the girls on, Instagram that are like fitness models.
Like
that's
late 1990s Girls Gone Wild.
Oh
time.
my God, they were
TV commercials.
beautiful.
Oh
They
my
were
God.
beautiful. Cuban girls were beautiful.
I got uncomfortable in where we were on an island that's also Puerto Rico. It's in the United States.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I did not know that there was like a grotesque female to male ratio there. I was unaware. No one told me. So like we had landed.
So there's more girls than guys? Or?
Like 18-1.
Wow.
So it was very weird because we had landed, we drop our bags at this house on the beach in San Juan, and we go for a walk on the beach, and it takes you a minute to realize it's nothing but women.
It's all women.
Yeah, all.
How many of them?
Imagine like your normal Miami or Cocoa Beach or like down in Daytona. Your beachgoers are the same groups. You've got these 10, 12, 15 people all hanging out, music. Someone's got
volleyball,
the speaker.
Stuff, yeah.
They got the drinks and everything. Like it was just like that, except there were no dudes.
Wow,
That
sounds like paradise.
They were all wearing thongs.
How many of them are vegetarians?
I don't know. I
that would have to be a thing. There would have to be a significant
or maybe all the
number.
guys were at work. I don't know.
Maybe that was the case.
No one's ever given me a straight answer about what was going on in Puerto Rico.
But you would think if there's so many women, there had to be so many women that are in relationships with other women, not by choice because of availability.
They all go to the beach because they know that the visitors come to the beach.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, kind of a come rescue me type vibe.
Yeah. Who knows?
That sounds pretty fun. Tori and I will have to go there and check that place out.
You do. Like, I definitely recommend Puerto Rico as a place for anybody to go visit because you have beautiful beaches and you have the feel of like an island or a Central American, South American country, but it's also like you can kind of get best of both worlds. It's like, hey, there's an actual Home Depot and Target here. Yeah. Or you could go to another section of town, which is all locally owned.
And it kind of feels tropical.
Yeah, it's food and everything like that. Plus, everybody
good.
Speaks our language. They use our currency. So it's like, if you want a good like getaway, but not because people that don't really travel, you don't understand how fucking bananas it can get sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't speak the language, you don't have the money.
Yeah.
You're either getting taken advantage of or you're just fucking lost. And it's just like, oh man. And then like you don't have plugs for anything. Like it's wild.
Yeah, Cuba was kind of difficult to get around like that without like a translator or something like that. One thing that is worth mentioning about Cuba that was really, really interesting is the cars. The cars were really special.
I've heard something about this.
Yeah, so because of the Cuban Missile Crisis and there's an embargo and, so they couldn't get anything after 1961, which by the way, Rico was the first American film to come out of Cuba since 1961. We just barely beat Fast and Furious, which was super cool. But the cars there, like for example, you have like a 55 Chevy convertible, call it cherry red, candy apple red, 55 Chevy convertible here that somebody that's into cars will build or go to Barrett Jackson and capitalize on an auction. That car here, 55 Chevy Bel Air convertible, Candy apple red, $20,000 paint job. It's probably got, a $45,000 LS7 with a supercharger on it and the turbo 400 transmission and all the suspensions, like awesome, really well handling stuff. And the interior is immaculate. And that car might cost, $110,000, $150,000. Let's just say that $150,000 car here. That car in Cuba is the same price, but it's because of everything that's happened there. It's got a Russian 3-cylinder or 5-cylinder diesel engine with a Russian transmission, all Russian powertrain, no shocks. One of the coil springs is broke. All the tires are so bald you can see the air inside of them with steel belts
so you're
showing.
Saying this still is $110,000.
Oh yeah, and
but you're getting something that is just
they're complete. They smoke like diesel performance trucks with no DPF on them, no emissions on them, and the inside is remarkable because instead of like all cherry inside with white, vinyl or white leather, and, they have like chain steering wheels. They have the shifter that's like this tall with the honeycomb, like dragonfly frozen in it. And they're shifting like this. It's got like welded chain links and the door panels are like old moldy wood. And, it smells like the car's got 2.5 million miles on it. The inside of it smells like 1,500 people had prison sex in it. I mean, it stinks to high hell. There's fucking hair all over the thing. So yeah, that same car in Cuba is same price, but very, very different because nobody can get access to any parts or anything there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see. All the cabs are those cars.
If I took the Focus to Cuba, that would sell pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. If you can get it there, you can't get anything.
Parachute it.
Yeah. The tough part for me getting the race truck there is they wouldn't let me bring fuel. And they offered to provide, because they were really excited to have us there. They were offered to provide Fidel Castro's race fuel. It says, it'd work fine. It's 105 octane race fuel.
Yeah.
I don't think that they understand that we have different definitions for race fuel. My race truck runs off 118 octane leaded fuel that's $23 a gallon. It's not
you don't have
LS7.
That here.
No, not in Cuba. It's not like a souped up LS7 or LS3. Runs $75,000 race engine with 13.5 to 1 compression that revs to 8,000 RPM. So it requires really good fuel. Otherwise, it just won't start at all.
118 octane. Where do you even get that?
F&L Racing Fuels or VP Racing Fuels is specifically for race cars and race trucks. But yeah, if I put like 105 octane in my race truck, it would behave the same as if you filled up your Focus with Jack Daniels. Do the same thing. Big fireballs out of the back, wouldn't run for more than 3 or 4 seconds.
But you survived Cuba somehow, even though the food crisis.
Barely.
Oh.
Barely, because they were getting really mad at us, even though we got permits for everything.
Why? You'd think they would want this.
Yeah, $75,000 motors are not that quiet. And, everybody loved having us there, but law enforcement was getting agitated because, we didn't pay any of them. We weren't supposed to. We didn't expect to. And we were all out of budget. So we couldn't afford to pay any of them off. And the locals there in Cuba were awesome. They didn't look at like you bring a race car anywhere in America or anywhere in Mexico or anywhere, where they don't have.
Mexico too.
Yeah, a little bit, a few times. You bring a race car anywhere and people are like, oh my God, that is a race car. Come look at this race car. Let's go check out this race car. You bring that to Cuba, they look at it like it's a fucking spaceship. Like it's not of this world. Like some alien brought it. The way that they look at it is really insane because they're like, oh my God, like they don't want to touch it. They're kind of afraid of it. And they're like, man, this kind of looks like a truck. The vibe from people that see that thing there is crazier than anything that I've
cops didn't get
experienced.
excited though. Like,
Oh no!
come on, seeing you jump, like they're
all
not
they
like,
care
"Man,
about
this
is
cool."
money. All they care about is money. You know, the government and law enforcement over there is it's pretty crazy for sure. But yeah, you know, doing one of the stunts I couldn't really do right. I only got a few tries at. I was trying to make it like the longest. You know, it probably still is the longest neighborhood jump on a city street, you know, ever. It's 192 feet.
You got a Guinness World Record for that?
I got a couple of them. I got a couple of them.
Man, I don't have one. I need one. Matt, get me one. Come on.
But people like running in the middle of the street because I can't see like over the crest in this neighborhood, and they're calling me on the radio, and I'm 20 feet in the air, and I'm like, there's people where I'm supposed to land. So we ended up having to we only got like 3 tries at this thing that a jump on the pavement in a neighborhood, like a huge tabletop. And I was going to really, really go far, but I didn't get to practice it enough to really, you know, send it super big off that because we couldn't contain the people. The people were just running in and out of everywhere. Couple thousand people in an, you know, old neighborhood. And they just wanted to see what the hell that thing was. They never heard anything like it, you know.
That is wild. Now you've been studying a lot.
I have.
Studying a lot of ballistics.
I have.
Oh. Why are you studying ballistics?
Well, man, about 10 months ago, I was having a hamburger. Actually, I just finished having a hamburger. And at In-N-Out, most people have heard the story, but you know, well, not most people, but most people have not heard this story.
A lot of people have asked us to have you on here to talk about
the gunfight.
You know what they do? They ask like the day after.
The day.
Oh my God! You need to get BJ Baldwin on here and tell us what happened. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm friends with the guy and I'm gonna bother him right now. Like, I think I waited like 2 weeks before I sent you that message. Like, hey, dude, hope things are all good. Miss ya. Like, because I know you wake up the next morning and 700 people like, oh my God, what happened?
Well, I didn't wake up the next morning. I never went to sleep because obviously, you know, it happened at 1:51 a.m. and it's not like you just go home and like, oh, it was a wild night and then go back to life. Now you're part of a homicide investigation. So, which, you know, that's never fun.
How are we looking up there, Sergeant Best? On target, on time, boys! Fire for a flip! Here we go! Set! You heard him! Fire for a flip!
But I don't have any extra holes I wasn't born with, so that's good. But yeah,
you're looking good
in that particular situation. You know, I've done a lot of defensive tactics training for 15 years.
Trained with all our friends, all the best.
Yeah, all the best. I do a lot of competitive shooting, not like sanctioned, like competitive shooting, like my girlfriend Tori does. She's a multi-time world champion. But like, you know, I take a lot of vehicle tactics class and civilian lethal force defense class, and I've got challenge coins for, you know, balance of speed and accuracy drills and all that stuff. So I shoot a lot, I practice a lot, I train a lot, and I'm really good with a handgun. So yeah, a couple guys ran up on Tori and I, and one of them had a gun out, and he didn't look like he wanted to talk about much.
That was it. You guys were just sitting on the tailgate, right?
No, we were. She was sitting in the car, like if my car is like parked like this, she had the door open, and then her legs were outside the door. She was kind of on her phone. I was smoking a cigarette like right here, and all the lights were out in the parking lot except for where the structure was, which was where I parked. And last car just left the parking lot because that's back in the height of the pandemic. Nobody's allowed inside the restaurant. Everybody's ordering food through the drive-thru and eating in their car. And that's what we did. And we've been cooped up in the house just like everybody else. We just didn't feel like going home right after we got done eating. And I had like a bunch of work to do that night. I ended up not getting a chance to get any food. So that's why I went there. I was like, damn, it's midnight. What is open? Still hungry. And Torsos go to In-N-Out. It's still open. So I went, and yeah, two guys just ran up on us, and one of them had a gun, pointed at Tori, and she was trying to gain my attention, to show me this. I might have saw it sooner. I might not have. She was, whispering really hard, like, BJ, brought this to my attention. And what was really weird is I didn't get scared. I didn't get anxiety. And there's no fear or anything. I just saw a problem that needed a bunch of holes in it really fucking quick.
Yeah.
And so I processed in about a second, like 8 minutes of data of everything that I've learned in the last 15 years, everything everybody said to me about, defensive tactics, lethal force, all this stuff, which was really, really crazy because I didn't have any adrenaline. There's no reason that I would have all that stuff just flow into my head instantaneously and have access to that information. And then, that was like one full, maybe 1.5 steps of me like, is this real? Okay, it is real. Okay, environmental assets. Okay, we got minimal cover 1.5 yards away, and draw and put a bunch of holes in this guy until he stops shooting, or so that he doesn't start shooting, and then go home. And hopefully you don't have to engage his friend either, because more than likely he had a gun too, but he ended up turning into Usain Bolt. I never seen anybody run that fast in my life. I don't think obviously they didn't show up to get in a gunfight. They showed up to do stupid shit. I don't even know if they wanted anything. They didn't ask for anything. I think it was just like they just wanted to smash somebody, because the guy he had a lot of stuff in his system. People are like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody just run up and want to kill you guys? Well, to those people, my question to them is, have you ever gotten drunk, smoked a bunch of weed, taken Xanax, taken fentanyl, taken cocaine at the same time, and been depressed before you even started? And
then now we're measuring your decisions.
Now we're measuring your decision-making capability. So yeah, he was really, really fucked up on drugs and depressed about some challenges that he had in his life. I get it. I sympathize. I've been there before, and I held no grudges. And I get that, he felt like he had to do what he was intending on doing. But, Tori's a pretty nice girl. I didn't want to see her get her head blown off. So I started putting holes in him.
Yeah. And the investigation was quick. You said 6 days?
Very quick. Yeah. There's not a lot to figure out. There's brass everywhere. Half of it's from his gun. Half of it's from my gun. I thought I'd be able to solve the problem a lot quicker, but I did have, and I'm kind of reserving the information as relates to the ballistic failures that I was having in the 9mm projectiles that I was using, but they didn't work how as effectively as I thought they may have worked, because it took a lot of gunfire to get him to stop shooting it at both of us. But I got it done. Typically, when you shoot somebody in the face, they change your mind.
Yeah. Ooh. But and then like it was like 6 days and it's dropped.
Yeah, I had an interview with the homicide unit of Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department about 6 hours later. So I didn't know what this was about. I want to go make sure, my family was safe, and, my dad was safe. He lives right next door to me. So I fortified my house. I had some people there that were armed until I could get this figured out. Went to my dad's house. He's got guns, but he doesn't really know how to use them as well as I do. So, or as well as the people at my house do. My son's mother knows how to use guns very well. Her husband knows very well. My daughter's mother, she knows how to use guns very well. So I wasn't too worried about any of them. But I want to make sure my dad was all right. And I called him. I said, hey, I don't want you to panic or anything like that. I know it's late. I know you don't go to bed till later, but I need you to stay up a little bit longer because I need to talk to you. Something kind of weird happened. I didn't want him to like panic or anything. So I went home, restacked my magazine, grabbed my rifle. Tori grabbed her rifle, put him in the car, and drove down the road to his house. And, saw him. I was like, everybody's fine. None of us are bleeding. But a couple guys tried to murder Tori and I in the parking lot of In-N-Out, and one of them died of COVID-19. That's what everybody was like dying of COVID-19, whether they were in a car wreck
on
or
the
anything.
death certificate if we told it.
Yeah. So we called police, called my lawyer, and we just said, we're 100% cooperating with the investigation, and whatever you guys need to know, however I can help. Would love to find out more about why this happened. If you can share that information, that would be great. Of course, they don't share any information. You got to have like your own investigation once they leave because they don't share any information. And it's really cut and dry. Some guy started shooting at us, so we shot him.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I've got another friend that was a military buddy of mine that owned some gold shops and had two guys come in and try and rob him, and he shot and killed one of them. But it was like they drug out the investigation on him for months, which like tore his hair out.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Like them getting it done in 6 days for you. Like imagine sitting and waiting.
Yeah. I was really surprised it was as quick as
10 months, 11 months. Like before anyone decides to show up and go, oh yeah, you're cleared.
I have a bunch of buddies, at Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. A lot of them because, I focus exclusively on what I call the short game. I don't mess with bolt action rifles. I know how to run like a fighting rifle, like an AR-15 or an AK-47, pretty good. But I primarily focus on their platform, like a Glock platform, and being extremely accurate and extremely fast from concealment with that platform. So I've trained, a bunch of cops on presentation, balance, speed, and accuracy inside of 15 yards, and tried to, help my friends out with just trying to help them be safer. So if they're ever in a situation where somebody draws down on them, they can solve the problem if somebody decides that they want to get in a gunfight with a law enforcement officer. Because, a lot of them could use more skills. A lot of them can. So I try and help when I can. If there's a law enforcement officer that's in my environment, whether I'm in a range or anything like that, and I can help them and give them, a few secrets of how to put holes in stuff a little bit quicker, then I'll do so. So, that might help because, a lot of those guys know me, and it was very, very clear that I was in no way, shape, or form did anything wrong, and there's nothing that I could have done to avoid this because of the speed that it happened. And they got to see the video, which I haven't seen yet. But
they won't even show you?
Not until the investigation is concluded.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's the brother that was with him. His name's Kevin. He's actually, I got a great deal of respect for him because when he was detained, he said, look, I'll cooperate. I didn't know any of this was going to happen. And my brother was totally in the wrong. It was totally a self-defense thing because, he started shooting at him. So that was really cool. Really, really have a lot of, as strange as it is, I really have a lot of respect for his brother, even though they were up to no good. I mean, I shot this guy in the face from 25 yards and knocked the teeth out the back of his head with bullets. His brother was there during that. So he had to see that. The poor guy, regardless of what his intentions were, he had to see his brother get smoked. And 2 days later, he's detained and he's got my back, which was crazy. I mean, I thought that was under the circumstances.
That definitely sped it up.
Yeah.
Because if he spun a different story,
exactly.
Then it's.
Well, police told me that first one on the scene wasn't even law enforcement. It was the guy's girlfriend. And, I hate that she had to see him like that because I'm sure that was not fun for her. So that really sucks for her. I'm really sorry that she had to see that. But I don't know what she was doing, but she grabbed his gun and put it in her car. I don't know if during like an adrenaline and shock, she was like, well, I don't want him to get in trouble. So let me take his gun and put it in my car. I don't know what she was thinking, but, she was able to do that and smart enough to pick up all his brass casings. If she was going to do that, then it would have been a different story. They'd been like, why'd you shoot this guy?
Yeah. This don't make sense.
I would be like, test his skin. He's got gunpowder all over it.
It also shows, though, like, you guys were just eating.
Yeah, we just finished.
So it's like, this can pop off when you're not even in the remotely the right mindset.
I was in a really good neighborhood, like a really good part of town too. It's not like there's high crime right there or anything.
So now, since doing the deep dive, do you think you're better prepared now?
Oh God, yeah. There's nothing that will sharpen your defensive skill set like being silhouetted in bullets from a guy that didn't even have the common decency to fire at you with proper defensive ammunition. I'm sure he fired at with me regular ball ammo, which was pretty disrespectful.
I think you can respect it though, because that meant it missed.
Yes, yeah, it did. Was it not? First thing I thought of, I was like, that's the 1911. Damn, that's a nice 1911. And then it was like 8 minutes. 3 of the 8 minutes was like, damn, I missed my Springfield TRP. I used to love shooting that stuff. First round target was 1.6.
Oh, this guy's running at you with a gun.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, my Springfield.
Like his foot was like going like that slow when I was breaking down this whole process. Like I said, it's like 8 minutes of information in one stride. And then it was like, well, I don't want to let him get any closer to her. So time to get in a fucking gunfight.
And like you said, you're better prepared now.
Oh God, yeah. Balance, speed, and accuracy is up versus how proficient, how skilled I usually am. And my knowledge as it relates to terminal ballistics is much, much higher. I have my magazine stacked according to my specific skill set based off of surveillance video that I've studied and how people that are non-combatives react and how long it takes for them to get out of the backstop. So I've broken like a bunch of stuff down and studied it, studied different projectiles, 9mm projectiles. The stuff I was using was, only 270 foot-pounds of kinetic energy transfer. Had X amount of penetration, very slow moving around. And then now the stuff that's coming out of my gun is going 1,600 feet per second. It makes more kinetic energy than 40, 45, and most 10mm auto.
Collecting that air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pressure.
So it's really hot rod 9mm stuff. And I carry a 35 when I used to carry either a 17 or a 19. Huh. And I do that to increase velocity, which translates into a more advantageous wound channel. So to say, hopefully I never have to use it again. But if I do, I'll be a lot more dangerous than I was. Yeah.
And hopefully people don't want that target, which generally I don't think they do. Nobody goes out and goes, man, I want the boss level.
Let's see if I get killed today by a guy that's an obsessive, competitive concealed carry shooter.
Yeah, it's almost like a jiu-jitsu thing. Like, I'm going after the black belt. Yeah. I'm going to take the belt. I'm going to take the belt from him.
Exactly. Let me see if I can knock out John Jones.
So what's the race season look like this year?
It's pretty excited. I'm doing a full Best in the Desert race season. I love Best in the Desert.
Doesn't Best in the Desert also do like a military side-by-side?
They do. I think they have a military class for side-by-side racers and stuff like that. So they're a great organization. And, a few of their racetracks have a lot of very, very high speed, high consequence corners. And that's the stuff that I'd have to say I have my strengths and weaknesses. I'm definitely one of the more successful racers out there. And I've been very, very fortunate to have the opportunities that I've been given. I'm the only person in history to win 2 Baja 1000s back to back and do the entire, drive the entire distance. But the high speed stuff where if you make a mistake in a corner, you're going off of a 100-foot cliff or you're going into a rock wall or into a tree. That's the kind of stuff I really, really like because I'm really good at controlling the vehicle, measuring my braking distance accordingly, rotating, lengthening my straightaways, corner speed, throwing rocks and breaking windshields is a lot of fun.
We look forward to seeing you out there and, you coming out and visiting a little bit more this year. We need to do some shooting and things like that.
Definitely.
Well,
I'm really excited. I got a lot of freedom now.
Yeah.
Thanks to this partnership, I'm really excited.
There's a lot of freedom going around.
A lot more. I don't have to worry about getting phone calls anymore. Like, you have been shooting too much and posting too much about it. If you could not do that.
No, I heard through the grapevine, your new people that you're working with aren't going to worry about that.
They're not going to worry about that anymore. No, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that they provided for me, and There'll always be family. I have a very close relationship with a bunch of them. But it's nice to be part of a team rich with very, very patriotic people, many of which volunteered to sign up to shoot terrorists in the face so that they don't show up on American soil and try and do that to us. So it is an honor. It really is an honor and a privilege to begin this journey with you guys.
Well, we welcome it. We are super excited and cannot wait for this because we're going to do some cool things.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is BJ Baldwin. You can find him on Instagram, BJ Baldwin, Facebook, YouTube, all of it. Look up the Recoil series. That is some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's fun.
And make sure you hit freerangeamerican.us. See you guys later.